Have you ever watched a family argument on television and immediately thought, that feels exactly like my house? Yo, listen. Not because the people looked like your family, not because they shared the same beliefs, not because they had the same problems, but because the emotional energy felt familiar. The interruptions, the frustration, the misunderstandings, the old wounds resurfacing in new conversations, the strange combination of love and conflict existing at the same time. And trust me, this is exactly why All in the Family became one of the most powerful sitcoms ever created. Because the tension felt real. Today we are diving into why family tension feels real. And I am telling you right now, this may be the single most important reason why All in the Family still resonates with audiences decades after it first aired. Because people forget arguments, but they remember emotions. Welcome back, everybody. If you love classic television, deep character analysis, and exploring the psychological truths hidden inside legendary sitcoms, then you are absolutely in the right place. When people think about All in the Family, they often remember specific moments, specific arguments, specific jokes, specific episodes. But here is the thing. What truly stays with viewers is not the details. It is the feeling. The feeling that these people genuinely lived together. The feeling that these relationships existed before the episode started and would continue after the episode ended. The feeling that every conflict had history behind it. That emotional authenticity is incredibly rare. One of my biggest hot takes about All in the Family is this. The tension feels real because nobody is completely right and nobody is completely wrong. Think about that. Let that sink in. Most television conflict depends on clear heroes and clear villains. All in the Family operates differently. Archie has flaws, huge flaws, but he also has fears, vulnerabilities, moments of kindness, moments of humanity. Michael has ideals, important ideals, but he also has impatience, arrogance, blind spots, frustrations. The audience can understand both men, even when disagreeing with them. That complexity makes the tension feel authentic. Because real families rarely divide neatly into heroes and villains. Here is the thing. Real family tension comes from competing emotional needs. Think about the Bunker household. Archie wants respect. Michael wants change. Gloria wants peace. Wants connection. Notice something. None of those desires are unreasonable. That is what makes the conflict so powerful. Everyone is pursuing something understandable. The problem is that those desires often collide. And when understandable needs collide, tension becomes unavoidable. Another hot take. I think family tension feels real because people are rarely arguing about what they claim to be arguing about. Think about that. An argument starts with politics, but underneath it sits respect. An argument starts with values, but underneath it sits belonging. An argument starts with opinions, but underneath it sits identity. The visible conflict is often only the surface. The emotional conflict is happening somewhere deeper. That emotional layering gives the show remarkable realism. One of the things Norman Lear ever understood was that families carry history into every conversation. Let that sink in. A stranger says something irritating. You react to the comment. A family member says something irritating. You react to the comment, and 20 years of memories attach to the person. That history changes everything. Every conversation contains emotional baggage. Every disagreement contains previous disagreements. Every frustration contains previous frustrations. That accumulation makes family tension feel heavier. Because it is heavier. Another hot take. The tension feels real because the characters never stop needing each other. Think about Archie and Michael. If they truly hated each other, the relationship would collapse. The arguments would end. But they keep interacting. They keep engaging. They keep responding. Why? Because underneath all the conflict sits connection. The relationship matters. The family matters. The people matter. That emotional dependence keeps the tension alive. And it keeps the tension believable. One of the most fascinating patterns throughout All in the Family involves people misunderstanding each other while simultaneously knowing each other extremely well. Think about that contradiction. Archie knows Michael. Michael knows Archie. Gloria knows both of them. Knows everyone. Yet misunderstandings continue. Why? Because knowing someone and understanding someone are not the same thing. Families often possess enormous familiarity without achieving complete understanding. That reality feels incredibly true to life. Another hot take. Gloria may be the character who makes the tension feel most realistic. Think about her role. She is not merely observing conflict. She is living inside it. She loves Archie. She loves Michael. She understands both. She becomes frustrated with both. She gets exhausted by both. That emotional complexity mirrors the experience of countless viewers. Many people have felt trapped between people they love. Many people have felt responsible for keeping peace. Many people have absorbed tension they did not create. Gloria represents that reality beautifully. This is where becomes absolutely essential. Reminds viewers why the family stays together. Think about that. Conflict alone does not feel realistic. Relationships survive because something counterbalances conflict. Compassion, a patience, a forgiveness, love embodies those qualities. She creates emotional warmth inside emotional tension. Without her, the household would simply feel hostile. With her, it feels human. Another hot take. The reason family tension feels real is because nobody ever completely wins. Let that sink in. Real family conflicts rarely end with total victory. People compromise. People adapt. People tolerate. People forgive. People move forward without fully resolving everything. That is exactly what happens throughout the series. The conflicts continue. The relationships continue. The emotional complexity continues. And that continuation feels honest. Because real life works the same way. Now let us talk about the historical context. When All in the Family premiered in 1971, television often presented families as unusually harmonious. Arguments existed, but they were usually quickly resolved, neatly packaged. All in the Family changed that. The show allowed tension to remain messy, allowed disagreements to linger, allowed relationships to contain contradictions. Audiences immediately recognized the difference. Because real families were messy too. Real families contained contradictions too. The show reflected reality in ways television rarely had before. Another hot take. The deepest reason family tension feels real is because love never eliminates conflict. Think about that. Many people assume love should solve tension. But families teach a different lesson. Love and conflict often exist together. Love creates expectations. Love creates vulnerability. Love creates emotional investment. And emotional investment creates tension. The people who matter most often affect us the most. That truth sits at the heart of every major relationship in the series. One of the reasons this theme remains relevant today is because family dynamics have not fundamentally changed. Families still misunderstand each other. Families still repeat arguments. Families still carry history. Families still struggle to balance individuality and connection. The issues evolve. The emotional realities remain remarkably familiar. That is why new generations continue discovering the show. As we look back on All in the Family today, it becomes clear that the show was never simply examining arguments. It was examining relationships, how people stay connected despite frustration, how love survives disagreement, how history shapes emotion, and how families continue functioning despite carrying enormous emotional complexity. That insight helped transform the series into something timeless. My final verdict is simple. Family tension feels real because it is built from the same ingredients that define real families. History, love, expectations, misunderstandings, loyalty, frustration, forgiveness, a connection. All of those forces exist simultaneously. And when they collide, tension emerges naturally. That truth sits at the heart of the groundbreaking sitcom All in the Family. And it is one of the biggest reasons the show continues to feel emotionally authentic decades later. What do you think? What makes family tension feel realistic to you? Is it the arguments themselves, or is it the love and history that exist underneath those arguments? Tell me in the comments. I genuinely want to hear your thoughts. Drop a like if you enjoy these deep dives into classic television. Subscribe for more discussions about creator Norman Lear and unforgettable characters like Archie Bunker, Michael, Gloria, and Bunker. Share this video with fellow fans of classic television. Turn on notifications so you never miss future episodes. And trust me, we have many more fascinating character studies coming your way.